Human beings thrive on what's known as the illusion of choice. You and I are the same way.
Yeah.
We need to feel like we're in control, but that can and often is just an illusion, right? Consider when you go to a grocery store. When you go to a store and you're going to buy something, who the hell has the money in their pocket?
Yeah.
You do.
Mom and dad. Right.
Right? You have the money in your pocket. You're the one that's going to choose what to buy. But when the store puts up a sign that says it's 70% off,
Yeah.
anchoring effect, the cognitive bias sets in, and you're like, oh, this isn't what I came here to buy, but I can get it for 70%
More
off.
my wife, but yes, I agree.
We all do it though, right? If you walked in
I
and
like
saw
to blame
70% off a Lamborghini,
Sure.
right? You'd be like hard pressed to think, ooh, I mean, I can get this thing for $35,000,
Let's go.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what we call the illusion of choice. And the illusion of choice is super important to understanding the human beings, because human beings, this is the example to the contrary. Have you ever walked into a store in the United States and seen 5,000 different types of toothpaste?
Oh, gotcha.
And then you're like, what's the difference? Like, what? This is becoming harder for me to choose because whitening, not whitening, minty fresh breath, gel bait, like you have to read the boxes, and then even as you read the boxes, you don't really know what the difference is. That's where the illusion of choice works against you, right? If somebody were to just give you 3 fucking options, right? Here's one that tastes like mint. Here's one that tastes like ass. Here's one that has no taste. The illusion of choice is going to drive you to pick the one that's mint.
I hope so. That's a great point.
Right? And that's what we see. We see that overseas. Because overseas, countries just don't have the money to invest in 5,000 varieties of toothpaste. But here in the United States, it works against us. And Arm & Hammer or Aquafresh or Colgate or whoever else, they are constantly trying to develop new formulas because they think that that's going to help their marketing. They double down on something and they only give people 2 options. It's a much simpler choice for people to buy. The illusion of choice is so powerful. That's a psychological hack that most marketers don't actually take into account.
You and I talked before about polarization and the lessons from CIA as you're bringing them into business. And if I couched it right, if I heard you right, you essentially said, hey, look, the CIA, Espionage 101, is essentially like divide, right? Divide and go that way. And as you've gotten into business, I think I made the comment to you, man, I've noticed you having a stronger opinion lately as I've followed your brand. And you said, yeah, I'm learning that CIA tactic mindset, whatever the phrase might be, is applicable to business.
Yeah.
Divide. I feel like there's a segue or a road from what you just described, the illusion of choice, to the idea of polarization in terms of business, or the idea of taking a stand, defining what exactly it is you or your business stand for. Can you take that and run with it? So yeah, go for it.
Absolutely. And it ties right back to your original question too about what to do with children.
Yeah.
Right? Do you force a child to do something because you're the parent and and you want them to have the experience? It's the same thing with the toothpaste. It's the same thing with creating a coup in a country.
Yeah.
Right? What you're doing is you want to lean. I'm serious.
I know. It's hilarious. It gave me a chill. Everything went through my right brain and then over to my left brain. Everything just went through me. And I'm like, oh, no, I know what it is now. I'm going to train myself by beating my leg. No, I'm just kidding.
Stick with it. I'm going to run a razor blade across my right arm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought that was hilarious. It's the same as executing a coup in a country.
So essentially what you're doing here is you want people to feel like they're in control of their own decision, when what you're actually doing is creating a probability set that can predict what choice they're actually going to make, right? So consider this with your child. One of the things that we always do with our kids is we give them 2 options. Why do we give them 2 options? Because both fucking options work for us.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Hey guys, it's time to brush your teeth. Do you want to brush your teeth in 2 minutes or 4 minutes?
Yeah.
We don't tell them it's time to brush your teeth. If you tell them it's time to brush your teeth, they only have one way of exercising control. No. And parents do this all the time.
Yeah.
They go head to head with their kids. One of the best parenting books that we ever read was a book called Unconditional Parenting.
Oh, nice.
Right? It's like a 1970s era book. Fantastic book. And in that book, the author, basically a psychologist, a child psychologist, explained that in a battle of wills, an adult will always lose because the adult has less resources than the child to stand on this willful decision. So if you're the kind of parent who has these battle of wills with your kids, and then your kids win, and then you go to bed at the end of the day feeling defeated or beaten or like manipulated or whatever else, your fucking 7-year-old is not manipulating you. How is a 7-year-old cognitively more capable than you at 35 or 25 or 45? They're not. They can't out-manipulate you, but they can, sure as hell, out-willpower you because they have nothing else draining their resources. Where you've got a job and a relationship and rent and responsibilities, all that stuff is draining your resources, plus just old as fuck like me, right? So you can't have a battle of wills against kids. So the way that you bypass the battle of wills is by giving them the illusion of choice. Brush your teeth in 2 minutes or 4 minutes. Do you want strawberries or bananas for lunch? Right? Do you want hot dogs or hamburgers for dinner? You don't give them any other choice. You don't go up to them and say, hey, we're having pizza for dinner and I need you to eat 3 pieces. Because then the only way they can exercise their choice is to say no. And then you're in a battle of wills, right? The same thing works for adults, man. Let's go back to that toothpaste example. I'm sure there's 1,000 people hearing this conversation right now who are saying that toothpaste example is bullshit, right? If Colgate only offered me 2 types of toothpaste, I guarantee you I would buy Crest instead. Okay, fair. Now, when Colgate takes their entire toothpaste line and they shuts it down and they shut the whole thing down, right? There's no longer 50 varieties of Colgate. They break it down to 2. Colgate Basic, Colgate Elite. Colgate Basic costs the same amount as Crest. Colgate Elite costs twice as much, right? Are you going to buy $9 toothpaste? Fuck no, I'm not going to buy $9 toothpaste. Yes, you will.
I was going to say, I think I am actually. Yeah.
Because they're giving you an illusion of choice, and psychologically, subconsciously, you can process that so much faster than you can process the 15 choices from Crest. So you walk into the grocery store and you see $4, $5, $4, $5, 1,000 different ways, and then you see $9. The first thing you do is you see $9. Guess what you just did? You just noticed. You just got a bookmark in your fucking brain, and you're like, oh, there's a $9 toothpaste? What's that about? And then you read it.
Yeah.
And then you come to a conclusion, you say, that's bullshit. And then you look at the other stuff, and then you burn out your resources, just like your kids burn out their resources. You burn out your resources on all these other choices until you're like, I just might as well get that $9 toothpaste. I mean, I might as well take it home, see if it works. Even if it doesn't work, you've bought it once, so the odds of you buying it again are now like 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The illusion of choice is what we're looking for. It's the reason pricing works the way it works. And like when it comes to countries, to your point about dividing a country, every country is already divided. Our country's already divided. Our country's been divided for a long time. We are just on a spectrum of how divisive we are in that division that already exists. Right? So right now we're at a place where it's at like an all-time high, where if you are a left-leaning liberal or a right-leaning conservative, you feel like you have to attack the other side. There was a time when, conservatives quietly teased liberals and liberals quietly teased conservatives, and most of us were in the center.
Yeah.
Today, guess what? Most of us are in the center. But all of us in the center, we don't want to be teased, we don't want to be made fun of, we don't want to be attacked, so we keep our fucking mouth shut.
So true.
Right? And then all the voices that we hear are the crazies on both sides who are trying to get more validation from each other by attacking the other side. So we're already divided. So when a country is divided, it makes it easy for someplace like Russia or China or Iran, all the countries that have been meddling in our elections for much longer than just since 2016. Yeah. 2016 was just when they got caught. Right? I don't know why people think that Obama was elected in a pure environment while Bush was elected in a pure environment and Clinton was elected in a pure... No, fuck no. Like, we've always been the country that every other adversary wants to target our election system. They got caught in 2016. It became mainstream in 2016, and now it exists, and we all expect it. It's always existed. We just never knew about it before. The way that it works is that they see us, and they are playing into our illusion of choice. Because at the end of the day, when it comes time to vote for the president, how many people do you really get to vote for?
Yeah. 2. That's it.
2.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the illusion of choice.
That's a good point.
If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip or here to see the full podcast episode.
Freedom! So fresh, so new.